to another segment of Masterminds Monday, where we offer business advice, meditation techniques, and effective rituals for the proper generation of wealth. I'm your host, Phylecia Tarel-Anu, and we are here with our other host, Damon Rawls.
Greetings, everyone.
Greetings, Brother Damon. How are you?
I'm great. How are you, sister?
Oh, I'm wonderful. As always, excited for another week of Masterminds. And I love this
Yes, this
topic
is
today
just the
too.
highlight of my week.
Yeah. And today's topic I like as well. And it's how to channel your soul for wealth and prosperity. So I'm excited to talk about this topic today. Did you want to head off, or you want me to begin, or?
You know I love to do ladies first.
Alrighty. So again, today we are talking about the soul and how you can channel it for wealth and prosperity. So just to give you some background on the soul. So basically, you came into this life with certain gifts and talents. And you also had a past life with certain gifts and talents. And that soul has imprints of that past life that you had in the previous life. And just as in this life, as you have a job, a career, or a business, you had the same thing in the past life. You were doing some type of something to make a living. Now, the very fact that you're here, like right now, listening to the show on this planet, living your life, that means that you messed up somewhere else. So that means because you're here, the goal is to go back home, back to the soul realm where we came from, back to that source. So again, if we don't kind of get these lessons that we're supposed to get, we come right back to this planet. So basically, every time we return back to this world, we again still have that lesson to learn, and we still have that destiny to manifest, or at least aspire to. So again, today's show is not going to give you, techniques. So we don't want to give you the impression that, if you channel your soul, then you're going to be rich. That's not it. So basically, again, because wealth means many different things to many different people. Now, but what this does mean is if you do tap into your soul and ask your soul to show you some of your innate gifts and talents, then if once you become aware of these innate gifts and talents and then actually use them, and the key word is actually use them, then you'll be further along your personal path of fulfilling your spiritual destiny, as well as realizing your perspective of wealth and success and prosperity. Now, Brother Damon, I wanted to give some tips on how they can do that, but did you want to share your insight background?
Yeah, well, I was, you gave such an eloquent breakdown. But when I also just think about it from my point of view, in conjunction with what you said, so it's not outside of what you said. It lets me know that if you can tie back to the soul and learn to listen, ask the questions and listen, then you can get the answers you need. And you're correct. You're not going to get rich by tying back to the soul. That's not going to happen. But if there's a lesson for you to learn, or just some questions you're dealing with, then you're able to tie back and have a better communication and get the answers that you need.
Absolutely.
So there's several ways to do it. Do you want me to touch on some of mine?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. Well, one of the ways that I like to do, I'll give one, and then I'll let you go, and then I'll come back.
Mm-hmm.
But one I like to do is through meditation, and then I like to fry into a candle, and I put the question out in the universe, so to speak. So I'll ask a question, then I'll light a candle, a white candle, preferably, And then I will fry into that candle and meditate at the same time. Now, not saying that this is going to happen, the answer is going to happen that night, but opening up the channel of communication. Then over time, you can do this every single day, until you get the answer you need, or the answer may come to you through a different form of meditation. So, like for me, sometimes me just putting the question out there, it'll come to me during a moving meditation while I'm working or something. So, or like right when I get ready to go to bed. So that's one of the things that I do with the candle.
Beautiful, beautiful. I liked how you said that moving meditation, or how you get those answers while you're doing something. That happens to me a lot, I noticed. But I also get a lot through water. So similar to what you said, like the candle scrying, I like to do sometimes water scrying. And basically you're just staring into a bowl of water, which is pretty cool if you're trying to channel your soul, because you're basically looking into your own reflection. So I like to do things where I'm looking at myself if I'm trying to really channel my soul. And I get a lot of answers through water. So that's another way why I like to use water, because whether I'm taking a bath or a shower, how you said you're moving, I usually get these answers that way. If I'm washing dishes, it's like, oh, let me go do this. I have to write it down really quickly so I don't forget. But things just pop. Yeah, I was washing dishes today and some idea came into my head, like, oh, make sure you go do this. I was like, oh, okay, good. Because I've always learned when I've gotten a reading back years ago, like when something pops in your head, do it. Listen to that voice. And stop procrastinating, because that's sometimes a problem that I have. A lot of us have, but I have that where I procrastinate too much when I get these voices from spirit.
Don't we all?
Yeah, exactly. So especially when spirit speaks, spirit's trying to guide you. So it's like don't ignore that, because timing is everything. So now,
especially if it's an answer you don't like.
Yeah, absolutely. So sometimes it's not always things you want to do.
Yeah, that's when it's funny when the answer comes, the answer you want, you accept it immediately. Oh, that was a sign. Mm-hmm. Then it's the answer you don't want, or it's a tough course to walk. Then you go, is that true? I don't know. I think I need to do a reading around it.
Exactly. And let me ask somebody else. And if that person who reads me doesn't give me the answer I want, I'm going to get another reading until I get the answer I want to hear. Exactly. So that's why it causes procrastination. But even sometimes, conversely, even if it is a good, a good thing for you, but it may be beyond your perception of yourself, then that can also cause procrastination, where it's like, okay, maybe you're supposed to be doing something much greater than what you're doing right now. Maybe because of laziness or just low self-esteem, you don't see it, so you're like, I don't know about that one. I'm going to keep doing this little job I got right now and be happy with that. So I think sometimes it
exactly.
Could be, twofold, like where it's something that you just can't even imagine yourself doing. Although your soul is like, this is what you came here to do. So let's get to it. But yeah, the scrying is excellent, and it's a form of divination, which is another thing I like to use. And again, divination is basically you're speaking to your highest self. So if you do your own reading, you can use the Anu Obi divination set. You can use the 9 position and ask the Obi to comment on your talents and gifts that you came to this life with, that you brought, or the gifts and talents that you brought from a past life. So you can divine on that and get answers that way. If you want more simple responses, you can use the OB5 position. And with that, I would just make a list of whatever you think your talents and gifts are, because sometimes you may notice, you have a proclivity towards something, and you don't know why, but whatever, you just like boats, or you like cars, so you might want to inquire if it's something related to that. You might be a fisherman, who knows, you might have some talent that you haven't tapped into in this life. So you can just make a list of those things and ask the OB, and the OB5 position gives you yes, no, or maybe responses. But ultimately, even with the maybe, you're going to have to get a yes or no. Now, both of these techniques you can learn from picking up the book Grasping the Root of Divine Power by Chief Phylecia Tarel-Anu. And we also now have a tutorial on the Anu OB divination sets on the product store on seduluhouse.com, so definitely check it out. And another way, of course, in divining, you can speak to someone else's higher self. Like myself, for instance, I do life path readings, and I specialize in the wealth and uncovering some of your gifts, because that comes up in your life path reading. So essentially, it's my highest self having a conversation with your highest self. So I'm not giving you the advice, I'm just interpreting what's coming through the cards, through the oracles. Now, and again, also, if you missed last week's show, this is another service that we're offering through Anu Business Consulting. So again, if you missed last week's show, it's another component of Anu Nation, where I will be using my gifts and talents that I came into this world with and branching out as a business consultant. So again, we're blending the spiritual piece into it, so you can get more insight into your path through divination. Sometimes there are blockages, for you obtaining wealth because of other issues outside of just having a good business plan. So divination is one thing I like to use a lot, because you can get some clear-cut answers. Like Brother Damon does the candles crying and the water crying. And another thing...
wait, but I love divination also now.
Oh, okay, go ahead. Let me cut you off.
No, I do the OB9 and I do an OB5.
Oh, cool.
So no, I just, when you touched on them, so there was no need for me to talk about them.
But yeah, it's really cool, because you get straightforward, answers. I was just saying the OB9 is a little bit more complex, of course. It's not just yes or no. But it's excellent insight, because you're having a direct conversation with your soul. So it's an excellent way to channel your soul and get answers. Another one I wanted to touch on was dreams.
Yeah, and I would say too, trusting yourself too. As my grandmother said, God don't make no mistakes. So you're perfect. You have everything here you need to move through this plane effectively. The only fears we have, every fear we have is taught. We're only born with two fears: it's loud noises and the fear of falling. So everything else is taught. So this whole not listening to yourself, or not being able to hear the voice of God, quote unquote, that's a taught thing. So I'm just saying, like, trusting yourself. So that small voice that you hear right before you lay down to go to bed, that says what you need to do is XYZ, that voice is correct.
Absolutely.
So, I just wanted to throw that out there.
No, absolutely. That's that intuition. Again, that's that soul, It's that voice that's guiding you. It's giving you those answers. And again, the divination, like we were talking about, helps you to sharpen that intuition. Especially the OB5 position. Because again, if you get the book, there's an exercise in there where I believe you do it for a whole month straight. Just ask, I think it's certain questions you just ask every single day for a whole month. And it just kind of helps you sharpen it, because at a certain point, you already know the answers before you even drop the coconuts. So it's kind of like you'll get into that mode where you don't need a tool anymore. So you'll just automatically know, like, no, I shouldn't do this, or yes, I should do that, or no, I don't like that person because of, they're this way, or this person's okay because they're that way. Like, you'll begin to trust your intuition, because I noticed when I started doing it, I thought I had horrible intuition, and I was just learning, like, well, no, you don't. You just don't listen to it. And it's like, that's absolutely correct, because every time I would do something that went south, when I would always say, I knew I should have done that. I knew I should have done that, but I just didn't listen. The big voice saying, don't do that, or like, don't take that job, don't, get into a relationship with that person, and you're just like, oh, let's just go for it. Let's see what happens. It's like, but you already know what's going to happen. I'm trying to guide you. I'm trying to tell you, don't do it. And of course, it happens exactly how you thought it would happen, horribly, and you just kick yourself later because you don't listen to your intuition. So that's definitely a good thing to trust. You don't want that voice to start.
Yeah, I'm country, and and I'm from the South, so I don't know if you guys say this up north, but I should have listened to First Mind.
You should have listened to what?
My first mind.
No, I never heard of that. I don't.
Okay,
no.
That's a Southern phrase.
Oh, okay. It doesn't sound too.
I should have listened to my first mind.
Okay, like your
it's the first thought that pops into your head.
Okay, I see.
And that's the soul speaking to you.
Mm-hmm.
The old people knew it. They knew it.
Absolutely.
And that's an old Southern term. I should listen to my first mind. But then when you second guess the first mind, and then you go ahead, it's like you were just explaining. Then you go ahead and say, oh, well, I'm just going to do it this way. I don't trust that. And then next thing you know, it's all wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
And you go, God dog it, I knew it.
Exactly. Or you're blaming other people. Like, why did this have to happen? Well, you knew what was going to happen, and you had all the warning signs and ringing bells, but you did it anyway. So you created this, So I was just adding that if, it's important to keep listening to that voice, because after a while, it will stop talking to you. It's like, okay, they're not going to listen anyway, so I'm just going to be quiet over here. You don't want these gifts that you get via voices or symbols or messages to go away, because if you don't act on it, it's kind of just like a waste. So definitely appreciate those gifts and listen and act accordingly. Now, I was just going to add before that was dreams. I think that's another way, an excellent way of tapping into, your soul and asking it to reveal your talents and gifts to you through your dreams. So people who are really good at dreams and interpreting their dreams, that's a good way to, channel it. 'Cause that's basically where you go into another plane to get information, and bring it back. You wake up sometimes like, oh, I figured it out. Oh, now I got it. Or I saw myself doing this in a dream. It's like, I've never even thought of that before. It's like, you start to get these signs and symbols that kind of give you information that, okay, this is what you're supposed to be doing. Because it's rare that it just comes out, just blatant, like, you're supposed to be a XYZ, It's kind of like you're on a journey to uncover it, but you can always get hints and, symbols and signs and things that or the traits of what you're supposed to be doing. But then it's ultimately up to you to kind of fulfill it and fill the pieces into the puzzle. So I think dreams is another way to do it as well.
Yeah, I would agree. Well, one of the things I like to do is right before I go to sleep, I like to ask questions. I ask myself, so how do I figure this out if I'm dealing with a situation? And so I put it on my mind so that my mind is working on it as I sleep. And the answers come.
Yep. That's a great way.
And I was also what made me think about is something else that a lot of people should try is being quiet. We live in such a fast world, and our senses are are shutting out stimuli because it's so fast with TVs and phones and computers and cars, noise, that sitting still quietly in a dark room will reveal a lot of things to you. I don't know how true this is, but I read that Hitler would sit in a room quietly for days upon time. Gandhi used to do it too, where they would just go in a room like on a Friday, and like not come out until Sunday.
Wow.
And they would come out with a lot of plans. Some of the old scientists did it too. So.
That's awesome. I can imagine that works because it's like there are no distractions and you're just there with yourself and darkness, you know.
And it's not there to go to sleep.
Yeah.
But just to sit in a chair with nothing, no stimuli whatsoever, no candles, no incense, just you and your mind.
Yeah, that one sounds awesome. I would like to try that. I don't know if I have enough time to take off to do that, but for a whole weekend. I can probably get a day in there though. I have to try that one.
Well, I'll give you something that I give my clients.
Okay.
It's for free. You can have it for free. And everybody on the radio, in radio land, you can have this.
Awesome.
It's called a 6-week vacation. Every 6 weeks,
staycation.
You must take at minimum 1 day vacation. Even if it's going to a hotel room, but not doing anything.
Every 6 weeks?
But thinking. That's it. That's all you can do. No phone, no nothing. Just you alone with your thoughts. And if it's going to the spa or whatever ladies want to do, you know, but it's a vacation. But it allows you to have time with your thoughts. And we get to think. But we're always working. So you can have that one for free.
Oh, cool. Thank you. That's a good one. Every 6 weeks, 1 day. That's awesome. Because that's more realistic for people that are super duper busy.
Exactly, because most of us can't really do it every day.
No.
Or every weekend. But 6 weeks to just, go away for 1 day at minimum. Preferably the weekend. So.
Yeah. That's a good idea. That's a cool one. I'm going to give that one a try. You should definitely can find 1 day for yourself. Definitely. Just to think and balance yourself. So I think that's a great one. I'm sure your clients love that one. Before we go on, let's just take a quick break.
No one does it.
And now for our New Nation announcements. Again, as you all know, the Self-Actualization Tour is coming to a close as the end of the year gets closer. We will be at Black & Nobel Bookstore in Philadelphia on December 27th from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it will be another powerful workshop presented by Chief Yuya. So definitely come out and catch the last workshop of the year. It's entitled The Power of the 14 African Principles. So you definitely don't want to miss this one. And again, please RSVP well in advance so that you don't miss Chief Yuya. And you can do that at www.enlightenmentandtransformation.com. Now, we also have a new I New Nation workshop coming up on Sunday, November 16th at Nicholas Brooklyn Bookstore from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
where I will be presenting a workshop entitled Shrines and Altars, Establishing Your Spiritual Gateway. So definitely come out, as I'll be discussing the difference between shrines and altars, how to build them, as well as how to use them in various forms, and of course more. So definitely come out, and you can register by visiting us at www.enlightenmentandtransformation.com. By now, you all should know that Chief has a new show out called Chief Speaks on High Frequency Radio Network. However, he's also broadcasting simultaneously on Enlightenment and Transformation Radio. So it was a successful show last week. So you can call in to Enlightenment and Transformation, or you can also call in at High Frequency Radio Network. And again, this is a show where you can call in and speak to Chief directly with any questions or advice about where you need spiritual advice or guidance. So please do not be shy. If you were a student, definitely come out, as you have so many questions. So definitely take the time to present them there. And of course, if you're just a general listener, this is definitely a time to connect with Chief and get some insight. And again, that show airs every Sunday from 8 to 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and 11 to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And now for some housekeeping. Again, for all of our current students, we are in the process of transferring over our classes to the Sadula House platform. So definitely stay posted. It should be available around November 1st. And now again, this means that the classes will no longer be on Udemy, so just stay tuned and we'll keep you posted. However, if you're a listener and you're in a free course, the classes are already available for you to review, to view now. So definitely come visit us at www.saduluhouse.com, and that's SADULUHOUSE.com. We've also made some enhancements to the site, and now we have a store directly on Sadula House. So definitely check out the site. We are officially advertising the Sacred Anu Obi Divination Tool, and it comes with an excellent tutorial, so make sure you check it out. And we also have our books directly there on site. In addition, we have some spiritual services that you can get now, which are more publicly available, which is the spiritual consecrations. So definitely check that out. We have some wonderful packages that are discounted. So if you have any questions and you would like to check out some of our products, again, come visit us at www.saduluhouse.com. And of course, if you have any customer service questions, again, Chief UI does not respond to customer service. So please visit the FAQ, which is available on saduluhouse.com. Just scroll down to the bottom of the site, and we have a nice knowledge base right there for you. Now, if any of your questions cannot be answered there, then contact us at 1-800-ANU-LIVING, and that's 1-800-ANU-LIVING. Or you can email us at questions@anunation.org. Now, back to our segment.
Before we go into our business advice segment, did you have any more techniques for channeling the soul?
I don't. Those are really the ones I use.
Okay.
But if anybody there's so many different ways, but I think you should try a lot of them and see what works for you, and then key in on what works for you.
True. I did have one more that I did briefly before, is if you have a photo of yourself. I'm not sure if I mentioned that earlier. But again, if you have something where you can look at yourself, that's a good way also to channel yourself, pretty much. So a photo is cool, and what you can do is you can even make a shrine, and make it a combination of scrying and meditating. So you can make it doesn't have to be elaborate. It can be into shrine or altar, and basically have a photo of yourself and put things that you like, and offer it to yourself. But you're basically establishing a connection with your soul. Sometimes we need a focal point for that, or to remind us that, okay, I want to start doing this. So, okay, let's do it. Make a shrine. And you can basically go to that picture and stare into the picture. Again, and you can just start asking whatever question you have and then sit there and meditate on it. So that's, again, another way to connect with or channel that soul energy that you have. And another one, of course, can't give all the details, but it's an excellent mirror technique because, again, It's that image that you have of yourself. You're staring right at it. But it's a part of the Anu spiritual training. So if you are interested in taking the classes, you'll definitely learn a lot about the soul in Anu spiritual training, because we have a lot of activities and homework assignments, and there's an excellent one in there to channel your soul. So, and again, it's about establishing that relationship, and then you can start asking questions, and continue to have a more in-depth knowledge of your own soul. So again, like Brother Damon said, there are so many ways you can do it, but these are just a few ways that you can do it. And again, the whole purpose that we're trying to get across today is to tap into those unrealized talents and gifts, because you came on this planet, you came to this path with certain gifts and talents to help you navigate through whatever your purpose is that you came, whatever lesson it is that you have to learn. You have these gifts and talents to kind of help you get through them, and also to share these gifts and talents with the world, because it's a needed thing. So definitely take that seriously, and again, you can realize your potential, which can of course lead to your perceived perception of wealth and success and prosperity. So again, these are some tips that we have, and again, definitely use them. I encourage you, don't procrastinate on this one.
Agreed.
So now let's move into our business advice segment. And for this topic, for this segment, our topic is how to keep your clients from becoming your boss. Now, I know that sounds pretty strange, but it's something that I think is a common thing, more so than people think. When they become entrepreneurs, they may find themselves back in a relationship where they're kind of subordinate and they have a boss again, although they are their own boss. So it's kind of a strange thing. But Brother Damon, did you kind of want to give us a head start on that one, because you are the seasoned consultant?
Yeah, I'll start us off with that one.
Oh, cool.
One of the big problems that most of us have is once we start doing our own thing and clients start coming, is those clients dictating how we do business. You get the client that wants to call you all the time, or go above and beyond on your request. On their request, or they want to hold you hostage. And people think because they're paying you, they can treat you the way they want to. But as a business owner, you've got to come from a position of power, because they have come to you for information or expertise. Because it's something that they can't do. So they come to you, so don't allow them to run the show. It's your show. They are participating in it. So if I've got a friend, she does home remodeling. So she does construction work. And she was telling me about a client that she has that is a headache. And then she said, well, Damon, I just told him, if you want to do this yourself, do it. But you hired us for a reason. And I think that's how all of us have to be, because I've been guilty of it myself. Allowing my clients to kind of dictate what we do. But again, they're coming to you for your expertise. So don't let them hold you hostage.
Absolutely. I think that's what you said when you said come from a position of power. I think that's key. So again, like as most of you know, I'm just branching out as a consultant, and we're developing a lot of things that we're doing now. But again, working within the Anu family, working in the chief, also doing certain things, like I do distribution of our books. Also do spiritual consultations. So in a sense, I do still have, clients, customers. And mainly with the readings, I've seen that happen where, like they want to set their own terms in terms of like, okay, we have an appointment at this time, but they want to call whenever they want to call in. Miss the appointment, get mad at you. Because again, like Brother Damon said, because they paid you. So they just assume that now you're supposed to be at their beck and call because they gave you some, money. But meanwhile, your service is already, priced to make it accessible. So they're getting a lot more sometimes than they even realize they're getting. But they would have to pay for certain services elsewhere. And in addition, it's just, I feel like it's just, I think it's a thing of like the empowerment where you have to learn to set boundaries. Because like, again, I'm learning now because I've had other friends that run their own businesses as well. And it just seems like a lot of, entrepreneurs seem to find themselves in this position, or people that work for themselves, because everyone doesn't always consider themselves an entrepreneur. And I personally think, like, from experience, that if you come from an employee mindset where for the majority of your life you relied on someone else to survive, and then dependent on your own disposition or the nature of your business, you may view your clients in that same way. So then you don't have a problem going above and beyond for your clients. Like if you're going to get a promotion or something, if you just work extra hard. But meanwhile, like there's no one else there to promote you because you are the boss, or you fall for them saying that they're going to give you these great reviews and all these referrals. But I'm learning big time that that's rarely the case. Because again, I've done consultations, we do recordings, we give them this kit, I take notes, because the life path readings are very in depth. And, just at the end, ask for a review, sometimes you don't even get a response to that email. So I'm like, they didn't even open it. I just drafted a 3-page, notation on what happened. I gave them a recording, sent them links and books, didn't even open an email to say thank you. But during the consultation, they're all excited and they're so thankful for the reading and for the guidance. So I don't fall for that anymore, So basically, I'm learning that you have to understand how much your time is worth, And that, to me, is just that. And then understand the value of your product and your service. And don't let anyone, make you think otherwise. Because, like, I've done that where I've gone above and beyond. And still, because I'm still learning. I do it still even now sometimes. I'm like, okay, I have to catch myself. I've been doing this for 3 hours, and they only paid this much. Now, basically, I make $5 an hour. So, like, it's one of my friends, from college. He's a doctor, and he used to claim that I made more money than him. I'm like, yeah, right, you're a doctor. But when he broke down all those hours that he works, he's like, I basically make like $20 an hour. And I was like, oh, wow, like, he's right. So, you can have a 6-figure salary turn to $20 an hour really quickly by just giving all your time away. So I'm learning that. I'm learning the hard way. And again, because I'm just branching out in certain areas. And it's a tough one because at the same time you want your clients to be happy. But, you have to have a fine line where it's like, okay, they're not taking advantage of you or devaluing your business and your time.
Yeah, and I think as owners, we got to remember, too, we're bringing value to them.
Mm-hmm.
So that value costs. And it's going to be a fair exchange. And you can go a little above and beyond, but people must respect that too. And so I think one of the things I don't believe in, unless it's a part of your business where you give away, like I give away free consultations. I give away several, like maybe an hour. But you don't get to continue to call me. I will give you your consultation, then I will explain the rate. And at that point, we can work together or not. because I'm going to bring value to you, and I'm not going to waste your time. So it's, it's a trade-off. And you're going to pay me for my time.
That's that. Absolutely. And you said something else that really stuck out is that respect. That you do want to make your clients happy, and you do certain things that are above and beyond to make your business, of course, stand out. But
Absolutely.
they should respect that. Like you said, if you give free something courtesy, like you give your free consultations, or even on our hand, like when I've done the readings that we do, we also record them. That's a courtesy. You don't really find that anywhere. No one else records it. It's like you take your own notes, so you come, and if you have questions, you got to pay me for that question. We'll answer questions after the reading. We're recording it for you. And then you get disgruntled people like, well, where's my recording? I want it right now. It's like, it's a courtesy. And if it does malfunction, it's like you're still supposed to have backup. We explain all this, but it's like this, like they think they are entitled to all of this for like this price. Everybody wants all this stuff for this little bit of money. So that's the part where I think it get frustrating, where you will not like some of your clients because they don't appreciate it, and then you want to change everything, and like, okay, I want a whole new different type of client. I'm gonna just change my whole brand now because I can't deal with these people anymore.
Okay, can I touch on that real quick?
Go ahead.
Let me say this and let me be clear. All those who have an ear, hear me and land. All clients aren't good clients. And all money ain't good money.
Absolutely.
Some people need to be thrown away. You don't need to do business with everybody.
Absolutely.
Because some people who pay you will be nightmares. And it is what it is. And guess what? Throw them away. Even if that hurts, that money will be replaced. And it took me a long time to get there. And it was scary. But now I just go, you know what? I can't do it. Until you, and it's a weird place to be in. But as much as you're talking to a person and they're interviewing you to see if they want to do business with you, you're doing the same to them. You interview them to see them if you want to be their client. I mean, if you want them as a client. If you paint houses and you walk into a house to give somebody a bid and they start talking crazy, ask yourself, do you want to deal with this? And stand on it. And if you don't want to deal with them as a client, even if it's good money, just say not good. I think there'll be somebody else better suited for you. But I don't think we're going to work out. And there's nothing wrong with that. And go chase another client.
Absolutely. I think that's...
Remember, because as your business evolves, one of the things you're going to learn is that certain clients are easy money and certain clients are hard money. And your job is to work with the easy money clients, as many as you can. They're easy to deal with. They make you the most money. You can get the most revenue from those clients with the least amount of headache.
Yeah, I think that's perfect advice, and I think that's excellent because so many of us are scared to do things like that because you're thinking like, that's money walking out the door, But I personally agree with you 100%, and I feel like, again, your time is money. So I feel like if you're scared of losing a client like that, that's a headache, and they can't adhere to your policies and procedures, then to me, you're saying that you're not scared of losing money. Because basically, in the long run, that's what you're doing. Because you're constantly rearranging your schedule, and that's a big one. That's another big one where, I think that's a big sign that you are in this certain situation where your client is basically your boss. It's like you're constantly revolving around their schedule. Although you have set hours or set times and set, appointments, but they don't keep it, and you lose money. So basically, if I set, say I have a consultation today at 10, and I'll wait, they don't call. Now it's 10:15, it's 10:20, it's 10:30, so it'll be a 30-minute reading. They call me like 2 hours later. Oh, I forgot. And now if I give them that reading again, now I just lost a half an hour. I could have read for somebody else, or I could have done something else. So I just lost money right there to give you basically now a free reading. So, stuff like that now at the end, it just starts to drive you crazy. Where it's like, if you keep doing this and you just add it up, like how many times have you done that? And think about if you didn't have if you had certain policies and procedures in place, this wouldn't happen. So that's why I think it's very, very key to set some clear and cut boundaries with your clients and customers. And to me, that's just basically drafting, some clear terms and conditions of your services, so that they can see straight up, right up front, like, this is what we do, this is how we do it. And like Brother Damon is saying, either you can work with me or you can't. You don't always have to conform to everybody you meet just so they can be your client. And now you're bending over backwards, working all sorts of crazy hours, and not making that much money. So like Brother Damon, you want to work with the best clients that you can and work efficiently as possible so that you can, maximize your time.
Absolutely.
Before we
I agree,
go on,
100%.
I'm sorry, I meant to cut you off. Before we go.
Oh, no. I was just saying I agree with you.
Oh, thanks. It's me agreeing with you as well. Well, let's take a quick break before we continue.
Are you stuck? If you're feeling stuck right now in your job, your career, your relationships, let Damon Rawls help you. All his life, Damon has been very successful in business and corporate America, and yet he knows what it's like to feel stuck as well. In fact, one of his specialties is helping people just like yourself free themselves from all the things that are holding them back. You see, over the years, Damon has perfected a neat little trick that he calls Find Your Inner Freak. It's the key to unlocking the secrets of personal success that are already there inside you, waiting to get out. He'll uncover your real strengths and your hidden weaknesses or blind spots. He'll even create a step-by-step, custom-tailored life plan that will enable you to get out of the rut you're in. You owe it to yourself to give this a try. Find Your Inner Freak is proven to help people from all walks of life. And since the cost is so low, you'd be foolish not to give it an honest try. Get started today for the low cost of $47. Contact Damon at 865-271-8021 or Damon@DamonRawls.com. Once again, that's 865-271-8021 or Damon, D-A-M-O-N, at DamonRawls, DamonRawls.com.
Brother Damon, also I just want to mention really quickly, you made a very good point about, like I was speaking about briefly, was about either you can or cannot work together. To me, it's like a relationship. And I feel like even if you're not an entrepreneur, even if you're an employee, you should look at it the same way. So by that I mean, if you go on a job interview, you shouldn't approach it with like, oh my God, I'm really super nervous and I hope I get this job. Like, yeah, you want to have a little bit of nervousness or whatever to a degree so that you prepare yourself for it. But you don't want to go in there like begging for a job. It's a mutual situation. Because I've seen people where they posture themselves as like they're there just to grill you, and it's like, well, hello, I have questions. I don't know if I want to work here. It's not all about you. It's about a meeting to see if we can work together.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not just you're in the position of power. Because ultimately, if they offer you the job, you're in a position of power. You have the right to say yes or no, or I don't want the salary, you have to pay me more, or I'll walk away. So ultimately, you are in that position of power, but you still have to look at it as a relationship. And like any relationship, you know, you cannot meet everyone's needs or demands. So, you know, I suggest getting to know your clients, you know, your target audience, seeing what their needs are, and then seeing which ones that you can honestly meet and which ones you can't. You know, and then set your services along those guidelines instead of trying to, again, bend over backwards to try to meet every need, because you can't. You know, everyone has their breaking point, or things that they just can't or don't want to do. You know, like Brother James said, all money's not good money for everybody. So I think that's a good way to kind of, you know, have a more clear guidelines of what you know you can do for certain people. And, you know, some people may walk away. That's just the nature of it. And then some people will gladly want to work with you. But I think it's key to having your own boundaries and being in that position of power.
That's a beautiful point. You made a point that I think if people didn't take that note, you're gonna miss out on a lot. You talk about interview. When you talk that you are interviewing them just as they're interviewing you, and you're seeing if this is a fit for you, if this particular company is a fit for you. Because the truth of the matter, if they called you in for an interview, they're desiring you anyway. You know, like you said in a relationship, they're desiring you. They're checking for you. So you need to see if it's going to be a best fit. Don't let them drill you with questions. You come back with questions because you want to see what their expectations are. And what they tell you, well, Phylecia, we want to be able to call you at 12 o'clock at night, and you drop everything you're doing to take care of what we need.
No.
that may be out of line.
Deal breaker.
Exactly. But we know jobs that are like that.
Absolutely. Yep. IT.
You know.
IT. My friends that work in IT, and they're like, I have to keep my phone on all night in case I get a call in the middle of the night. I was like, what? What? They're like, yeah. Like, you have to go to work if something malfunctions. I'm like, anytime? They're like, yep. Now, they pay them well, so I guess to them, you know, well, you got to pay me a lot of money to do this. But to me, I'm like, nah, I don't want a job like that. No, thank you. I don't care how much you pay me. I don't want that, you know. So
yeah, but some people are like that, you know. So I believe that you definitely need to interview them, ask them questions, see if they're a good fit for you.
Absolutely. And you can do this and still I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just adding that you can still do this and still offer, you know, quality service. You know, people won't think, and I'm saying this as in, say you currently at this moment don't have any terms or conditions or any clear-cut policies and procedures, and then you're thinking like, okay, well, what if I do that now? Tomorrow, what's going to happen to my clients? Are they going to walk away? It's like, don't be scared of that. Basically, you can still offer your quality service. To me, this is even more of a quality service now that you have clear conditions and terms and policies and procedures, so that people can know straight up front who you are, and it looks professional. So I would just not be scared. And again, it's a spirituality, so if you get scared, call on Orisha Shango. Definitely will help you with that courage and effective communication. So he's like 2 for 1. So anytime I have issues with that, and especially, you know, business or starting out something new, or you're scared to do something, call on Orisha Shango, and he'll definitely help you get through that. And you'll see, you know, if your clients get a little upset with it, then, you know, and the ones that you really want to keep, they're not going to have a problem with it at all. So again, like brother Damon was saying, all money isn't good money. All clients aren't good clients. So you might lose some of the bad clients. Who cares? You have more quality clients in the end.
Absolutely. And losing those bad clients will free you up to go get more good clients. So, yeah. Gotta be done, people. Gotta be done.
Absolutely. Before we wrap up, did you have any other tips that you wanted to offer everyone in terms of like how they should go about this, or if they're scared, they don't know what to do, to kind of not become their client's employee?
I would say set standards. Whatever your business is, whether it's painting houses, cutting a lawn, consulting, graphics, set standards in the initial conversation on what you're going to do and what business looks like for you. So if you say, like, let's just say you're a graphic artist, you're saying to somebody, I'm gonna do, a piece of work for you. Set the standard. Say, look, I need X, Y, Z from you, and I will be able to produce for you when I have everything, in 2 weeks or 1 month or whatever. I'll give you a first draft, a second draft, or, I'll give you a completed project and you get 2 revisions. I got a friend of mine who does graphics for me, and that's what she does. And she sends me an email every time we're finished. It says, you get 2 revisions.
Wow.
And I just laugh, and I go, good for her.
That's cool.
But this is a close friend of mine, and she still does that to me. So, but that's good because she's saying, listen, don't go back and forth with me. You've given me all the information. I've given you this. So, there may be a couple of tweaks, but I'm not going to be working on it for the next 5 years. So set the standards, and if people agree to your standards, move forward.
That's excellent.
And always come back to it if they have any problems with it. Well, we stated this is what we would do. I would give you a final with 2 revisions. You agreed. I don't know what the problem is now. And if they both, hey, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. That's business.
Absolutely. That's a good one. That's what I was just going to say also, like to put it in writing, whatever agreements that you come to with a client, just make a contract. And the contract is just a legal agreement, between you and another person. So get it in writing, just in case, because some people will try to pretend they don't remember what you said, or, they'll try to pull, the wool over your head and make you think that you weren't clear. So I would just suggest, put it in writing, whatever you're going to do for somebody, so it's clear right there. They don't necessarily have to sign it if they don't want to, but at least what you're going to do is clear somewhere, I think that's a good one. And of course, like Brother Damon was saying, just setting those clear boundaries. Like, I think that's a great example of what your friend does, the 2 revisions, because I've done that. You work with people and you're working on it forever, and it's like, okay, I understand if you've done something wrong, but if it's someone constantly just picking over something and it's taking forever, then that will hold up business for that person. So that's an excellent condition that she has. I think that's great. And also, like, to me, I think another one to do is also, like, not necessarily penalties, but whatever you want to call it. Like, if your clients don't follow your process, like if they're late for your appointments. If you've ever gone to a doctor's appointment, and a lot of these upscale doctors now, you get charged, if you're late for the appointment. And they will cancel. You can't come, but you still have to pay. And it's like, I didn't even get to come to the, well, sorry. And you still have to pay because you wasted my time where another client could have been in that spot. So they're not going to lose their money. So doctors do it. So don't you be scared to do it. Your business is just as, important, whatever service you offer. So you can do something like that. If people don't show up for their appointments, they lose their payment and their money. They lose their appointment and their money. I think that's an excellent one. And again, have the courage to stick to it. Another one I think too is the prices. I notice that sometimes people feel like they, to me, again, that goes back to that employee mindset where you're offering something to someone and they want to pay you a lot less than it's worth. That reminds me of being an employee. You get offered a salary that's a lot less than you're worth. So people do that a lot where they're like, I can't even get paid for my clients. And like lucrative, positions like attorneys and stuff, they constantly complain like my clients don't pay me. So I think that's something where you should have a number for whatever your services are that you will not go below, so that you at least make a profit. So have some wiggle room in there somewhere for negotiation, but as long as you always make a profit, do not go below certain numbers. I do that all the time with the books, products, whatever I sell. It's just something below. I don't care what your excuse is, whatever your situation is, I'm not going below this number. So we either can do business or we can't. And again, if someone can't afford your services, depending on what type of business you offer, you can do barter arrangements if that's something that you're into. So say you have a business and they have a skill you need, then it's like, okay, well, I'll do this for you if you do this for me, And again, put that in writing as well. But that's another good way to get some additional resources for your business where otherwise you probably couldn't afford. So say like Brother Damon, he's got a friend who's a graphic designer and he may need one for his website. So, okay, she may need some business consultants. So that's, they can work together without having to exchange money, but they can, do service for each other for a certain time period. So that's just another tip, that you can do without devaluing your business.
Yeah, there was one I wanted to talk about real quick. Mm-hmm. You talked about a contract. And if you don't have a contract, your clients to sign a memorandum of understanding is something you can use, which is just a one page, this is what I'm going to do to you. And if you don't have a memorandum of understanding, let's say if I'm on the phone with Sister Phylecia and we're discussing something I'm going to do for her, I can just say, let's email this so that we're both on the same page. Mm-hmm. That email becomes a contract. Mm-hmm. Because it expresses the services to be provided, and then all I have to do is say, Phylecia, do you understand? And when you say yeah, it's a contract at that point. So that's a no-cost way to get around the contract. If you don't have a contract, or you feel kind of weird making your client sign a contract. Mm-hmm. But if you email each other, you come to an agreement on what you're going to do, then you can kind of go back to that email. If they say, well, I wanted you to do more, you just pull it back out and say, well, here's in the email we said we would do A, B, and C. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to do F. So.
Yep. I love email because it's always right there. Like, well, you said on October 5th at 2:15 p.m. Love email. Can't deny it. It's like, oh,
exactly.
You said it. Like, because people try to change stuff on you all the time. And it's like, but wait, we just said, and it's like, oh, let's pull it up in email. So even if you don't agree to, even if you don't say I agree, like you're saying, just that email exchange, where you're setting up things and, you're saying, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. That's proof right there. That's your contract. So again, you don't, like you said, you don't have to make everyone feel uncomfortable by signing something because people hate to sign things. I know I do. But you can still get a contract without people signing anything. So yeah, definitely keep your emails and your written documentation. Keep a file on that stuff.
Yeah, you said something else that I wanna touch on that's really good. You talked about your prices.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just say this, like when you're talking to people about the prices of your services, don't start at the rock bottom. Right? Don't be so cheap that you're doing it just to get business. And I have a big problem with this. I was cheaper because I didn't know my value. And so I was afraid to go for higher prices. So I said, oh well, no, they're not going to use me. But you'd be surprised that people will pay more for something because they think it's worth more.
Yep.
When it's more expensive. And things that are priced cheaply, they think don't have that much value.
Yep.
And think about what your profit margin is, and say, just like the police said, I can't go below this number. Yeah, actually, yeah, that's a very good. I actually did a video on my YouTube channel.
Yeah, that's key. You have to take care of yourself, and people want everything for free. I like stuff for free, so nobody wants to pay the what something's actually worth. But even if you like, brother, that's key. You can't start at your bottom number. We can go back to the job example. If you want a certain salary and you need this salary to live because you have XYZ number of bills, well, don't go to the job saying I need that salary. Go at least $10,000 above that salary so you can get, close to your salary that you need to survive. Same thing with this. Don't go below certain numbers, or they'll start telling other people, and now everyone is going to try to negotiate this low price because somebody got excited and they told somebody else because they really need the help. And it's like, okay, go call Brother Damon because he'll help me, so he'll help you too. Just say this and just say that. And you don't want that to happen. You don't want that to happen, So yeah, you have to stick to your guns when it comes to certain things, or you're not making any money. You're wasting money. Services. Depending on what you have, it costs certain things to get even the certain products, and then it's offered to you at a certain price, but you have to pay for that. Because I've had, even with the books, I've had distributors try to buy books from me. I'm like, I would make $0 for that price. And it's like, oh, it's a distributor discount. And, they think it's great because they want to buy like 60 books. And it's like, but yeah, I would make like 50 cents a book. Like, why would I do that? And now you're taking all my inventory and I can't sell it to somebody else who's going to pay me like good money for them. So you just have to be very mindful of, your profit margin. You definitely want to help people out. You want to have things that are for a good cause, but you still have that number you can't go below.
Yes, you got to figure out your profit.
Absolutely.
Well, got to figure out your profit, folks.
Absolutely.
Once you know your profit, and your profit literally is, you bought a shirt for $10, you're selling it for $15, you got $5 in profit. But that's a percentage margin, so you just got to do the fraction on it. And then you'll come out with a percentage margin. And then you'll know. That's what I mean about certain clients. Certain clients will come with a higher profit margin than other clients. So once you learn that number, then you know what to play with. And then you can't sell a shirt for $11. Just like the police just said, making 50 cents per book. That's ridiculous.
Exactly.
So you need to be doubling. You need to be doubling the. Oh, well, I don't know how many books you bought in bulk. So let me not say that.
And no, he was trying to pull the wool over
Let's
my
say
head, make me think.
quadruple.
Yeah, maybe he tried to gloss over the price that he wanted to pay for the books by how many he wanted to buy. I'm like, I don't care if you want to buy 200 books, not for that price. But we are coming to the close of our show. We've gone over a little bit, but it was a great topic, so it happens sometimes. Now, if you guys have any questions, you can always email us at mastermindsmonday@gmail.com. And again, we will answer your questions regarding spirituality and wealth. And of course, if we don't know them, we will research and get the answers for you. And,
Absolutely.
And that's all for this week. So until next time, we will see you next week. Peace.
Peace.